Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Malcolm, EastCoast Highlander. Right now I am going to go to Bannockburn with my fiance Lisa. We are going to go there just to see this statue or what they are going to build at Eastern Bridge. He's just on top.
Basically unravels in the same way that the Scottish administration had unravelled after the Battle of Dunbar. And now we have a new Scottish administration being established under the leadership of the two gentlemen, read the letters along the top line for them. The two gentlemen named at the front in the opening line of this letter here. Andrew de Moravia, Andrew Murray, who is very difficult to tell, and Wallace. This again is a symptom of how Murray is so short. He has that kind of nice E at the start of his name, but the rest of his name just looks like a squiggle at the top here. Whereas Wallace, because he has those W's and L's, has all these lovely loops. So even on here he looks bigger and more impressive than Andrew Murray. So Murray and Wallace are established as guardians of the Kingdom of Scotland in place of the King, and their role is to create and shape this new royal administration. And this is one of the things that they do. This one of the things that they produce in order to do that. This is known as the Lubeck letter. It was a letter produced in Haddington in October, barely a month after the Battle of Stirling Bridge, basically telling the merchants of Lubeck that Scotland is open for business and that they should start sending ships, start sending money, start sending people across here to Scotland to start trading again. Unfortunately for Andrew, although he is listed first here among the Guardians of Scotland, he is not in good shape by October. He has been wounded, it seems, at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Remember, the fighting is very brutal, very bloody there. It's all about coming to close quarters with the English. So Andrew takes a wound of some description, we're not really sure what. He is still alive here in October. He is mentioned again in a letter that is produced in November. That's to the priory at Hexham Abbey. Basically a letter of protection for the monks at Hexham. But unfortunately, that is the last time he appears, and by the time we hit the beginning of 1298, Wallace is now producing charters and producing letters that name him as the sole guardian. Andrew, it seems, dies of those wounds that he receives at Stirling Bridge. Now, just to very quickly wrap up, just to have sorry, that was a little bit premature. Just to wrap up, why then? I mean, we have seen that Murray, although he doesn't last very long, Murray does contribute, and almost certainly should be seen as having equal part in leading the Scottish Army, at least equal part in leading the Scottish Army at Stirling Bridge. So why doesn't he get remembered quite so well as William Wallace? Why, for 7 centuries, have people been writing about Wallace and Bruce as these great leaders, patriotic leaders of the Scots in the First War of Independence, and Andrew gets left behind? Well, part of that reason is due to a lack of sources about his life. The contemporary sources that we have, certainly in narrative terms, are English, and as I say, they are banging the drum for let's go and get William Wallace. They are desperately trying to portray Wallace as a huge threat to the English royal administration to English ambitions in Scotland. So they emphasise Wallace and they just forget about Andrew altogether because he's off the scene by the time they're writing. Although they're writing quite quickly after the battles of Stirling Bridge, Battle of Falkirk the following year. Nevertheless, they don't have to make Andrew seem like this ogre that the King of England has to go north and sort out, because Andrew is out of the way. Wallace, though, is a live threat to these northern clerics who are eager to emphasise Wallace's part in organising resistance to the English. But there's another part to this question: why is Andrew not remembered? Because although they don't write very much at the time, or not very much survives written by the Scots at the time, the Scots do eventually start writing histories. By the end of the 14th century, they are writing narrative histories of their own about this period. In fact, they are fairly obsessed with this. That's very much what my PhD was on. So why do the Scots forget Murray? Even Blind Harry's the Wallace, an incredibly detailed and mostly fictionalised account of Wallace's life, does not mention Murray at all. Why? Well, unfortunately for Andrew, his line, his direct line of descendants, doesn't survive him by much. He has a son, also Andrew, and he becomes actually Bruce's brother-in-law. Andrew Murray marries Christian Bruce, one of Bruce's sisters, who was actually released as a result of the Battle of Bannockburn. She'd been a prisoner in England, but she's released in 1314. In 1326, she marries Andrew Murray, and Andrew Murray goes on to become, he follows in his father's footsteps, he goes on to become a guardian of Scotland in the Second War of Scottish Independence. He, however, leaves two sons behind, John and Thomas, both of whom have died without issue by 1361. Our earliest Scottish chronicler, who is producing material about, or material that survives, about the Wars of Independence, John of Forden, is probably writing in the late 1360s. So by the time the earliest surviving Scottish histories of this period are written, there are no Murrays that these Scottish chroniclers are interested in bigging up, in inflating the achievements of their ancestors. There are a lot of Douglases, there are a lot of Stuarts, a lot of Bruce's followers. Bruce, of course, has his own son and his grandson, Robert Stuart, both his son and his grandson, David II and Robert Stuart, succeed Bruce as king. So we have other families, their positions being elevated, the stories of their ancestors being elevated in order to earn patronage for the people who are writing, people like Forden, people like Barber. Nobody is really interested in encouraging the Murrays to spend money on them, because there aren't really Murrays with that kind of capital at the time when these early histories are being written. And so instead of seeing the period of Wallace's life, the period from the period of Wallace's fight, say from 1297 through to his death in 1305, we don't get the Scots pouring a lot of attention onto Wallace and Murray. We get the attention being poured onto Ross, onto Wallace and Bruce. And the Scots, writing in the 14th century, writing in the 15th century, are much more interested in, frankly, inventing close relations between these two patriotic heroes of the late 13th and early 14th century, rather than giving us detailed accounts of what Andrew got up to and giving us an indication of the part that he really played in 1297. Sorry, that's been a little bit long, folks. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for that, and you'll all be happy that we are supporting Andrew de Moray, because he is very much a part of this statue. It's an interesting thought. As I told you, William Wallace has been my hero for a long time. I have a slightly different view. I think the two were compadres, but I suspect that Wallace was the man in front with the big sword saying, "Follow me to victory." Whereas I suspect de Moray was probably the tactician, which begs the question, what if de Moray hadn't been killed or died of his wounds? Would the Battle of Falkirk have had the same outcome? Would it have been fought the same way? Who knows? Can I also say at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, that I mentioned FES, who are giving us great support for the lighting project, which is on stream coming up. I'd also like to welcome our Provost, Provost Simpson. Provost Simpson is a trustee, as were her two predecessors, of which I was one. And the council supports what we're trying to do. And that's terribly important to have our council on side with us. And that comes to become very useful when it gets to planning, because that is a council responsibility. Now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. We had a competition. Some of you may have come to the Smith where the various entries were on show as to what kind of artwork we were looking for. Can I just say that I felt very strongly, as did others, that we wanted something very different. While I very much admire the statue of Robert the Bruce, which was commissioned by Aberdeen Council, Bruce on horseback, it's another guy on horseback. We wanted something very, very different, and I think we're going to get it. So the winner, Mark Robertson, is a very exciting sculptor. He's got new ideas, fresh ideas, away from the standard, guy standing like that on a plinth. So we've had a lot of interesting discussions with him, and he's brought a lot of fresh ideas to it. So I'd like him now to come and expand on his ideas as to where we're going in terms of design. Please welcome Mark Roberts.
Just give me a minute or two till he sorts. Switch over the presentation here. I'm an artist, so artists use Macintosh computers. See, everyone laughs when I say that. Artists use Macs, and Macs don't work on the system very well. Yeah. So I'm going to press button shade on myself. Let's do that one more. It should be that. Okay. There's a blank screen now. Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. Thanks for the welcome, Fergus, and good to be here, and hello. When I was tasked with the job of creating a monumental artwork proposal to commemorate the partnership of co-commanders Andrew de Moray and William Wallace at the Battle of Stirling Bridge, I began asking myself lots of questions. Some of the questions were practical. How big should the artwork be? Where should it be situated? Who would pay for it? What form would it take? Some of the questions were also conceptual. Should the artwork be about the battle? Should it be about victory? Should it be about Scotland? I've been a full-time professional artist designing and creating site-specific sculpture and artworks in consultation with local communities and city councils since 1974. And because I work and serve in the public realm, everything I create is the result of collaboration and partnership. This is a piece of work I did in Dundee, and it was celebrating the work of the woman who worked in the jute industries in the infamous textile mills in that city. I therefore often see myself as a catalyst that helps to bring people's dreams and ideas to fruition. The art we find in a gallery is private, some of my private work, and is often just created for its own sake, or for the collector who values it. Public art, on the other hand, is defined and informed by its physical and social context, and is oftentimes commissioned for Ballycastle's Foreshore Park and ferry terminal. Public art may be an integral part of an infrastructure initiative, or a cultural expression that raises the profile of a city and its people and their history, such as this urban renewal initiative for the former mining town of Bardo in South Wales, where I created 6 site-specific artworks over a period of a few years, where I was appointed as the lead artist to be involved in a major urban renewal project that rearranged this whole square, built a new road, moved shops around in an effort to try and raise the profile of the mining village whose fortunes had really gone downhill. There's no doubt in my mind that this is another piece from the Bardo project. There's no doubt in my mind, if implemented, such initiatives always have a positive economic and social benefit, for they help reinforce identity and build image. To quote a line from a movie, Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. Thank you, Robert. I didn't get that idea from him, but as we were talking prior to this meeting, he said, you know, build it and they will come. Spooky. Spooky. Now that we have all had time to look at the model, I hope you've seen it. Although you can only really see it from the front and side. If you look around the back, there's more. And we've heard about the background to the project also, from a historical point of view, which I found fascinating. Thank you. You may be asking, what's the inspiration for my sculpture and where do my ideas come from? Well, as always, I start with the place and its people. When I visited the proposed Bridgehouse sculpture location during my initial research and stood there, looking at the familiar silhouette of Stirling Castle in front of me, and then the Wallace monument behind me, I began to picture our 2 heroes standing there also, preparing themselves for the challenges that lay ahead on that eventful day so long ago. I thought to myself, what would they have looked like? What kind of people were they? I'm sure they would have had their differences, but on this occasion they came together. So how might they have inspired their followers? It was then that it came to me. I could see it now. I saw 2 partners who shared a common vision. Partnership and collaboration was what it was all about then, and it's what it's all about now. There was the Moray and Wallace, poised for action, facing their objectives, about to move forward. And in that still moment of anticipation, I realized what would have happened next. Any ideas? They would have turned around and looked towards their supporters to give and receive encouragement. Now I felt this was getting personal. How would I feel? What would I do if I was amongst that crowd, and Moray and Wallace's eyes met mine. Could I bring that moment of challenge from the past into the present and create an artwork that had the same engaging effect in the here and now? Could I create that same reaction in the mind of the visitor when they looked at the artwork from the outside? And then, by moving around to a different point of view, to look inside the sculpture and see de Moray and Wallace's eyes looking back at them, now it becomes personal. The implications of rising to the challenges we all face becomes real. Then I remember I'd already explored this idea before on a previous project when I made a 10-foot-high monumental portrait mask of a miner for a small mining village in Wales. When seen from the front, the face looks down the valley, back in time, as it were, to the derelict pit below. But because the sculpture takes the form of a hollow mask, when viewed from the rear, the face magically reappears, as it now looks back up towards the empty village behind, where an uncertain future awaits. It's a kind of trick of the eye, optical illusion. The lighting looks differently, takes on a different character, and you maybe be aware of the famous idea of when a photographer takes a picture of someone, make sure that the eyes look down the lens. Because when the photograph is printed, the eyes follow you around the room. Just the eyes. But the weird thing about this optical illusion is the whole face seems to turn. And we'll see that later as we live. So as my vision for our artwork became clearer, I was now convinced that my objectives should be twofold. To create in the present a challenging connection with the past, and to celebrate the benefits of partnership and collaboration. These would be my themes, my inspiration and my message. I felt I now had the answers to the questions I had asked myself at the beginning. And now that I knew what my concept should be, I had new questions to answer. Uppermost in my mind was, how could I portray my vision? 40 years experience in the field has taught me that successful public art does not happen in a vacuum. It needs support and input from everybody involved. For an idea to take hold, for a vision to be embraced, for an outcome to be realized, the artist needs not only to inspire the heart, but inform and reassure the mind. And what is being proposed is worthwhile and a valuable venture that will stand the test of time for generations to come. I was sure I would be asked many questions. Some of these questions would be aesthetic, some practical, some technical, some might even be existential. For example, why should we make a monument in the first place? What are they for? Monuments often combine two familiar elements, namely function and size. When we seek to show respect for someone, when we want to recall and celebrate past events that are significant and important to us, we make a monument. When we want to remind ourselves and future generations of our nation's past achievements, noble ideals that are even worth dying for, we make a monument. Sometimes events are so significant and important, our monuments become monumental. Monuments have been created for thousands of years and often become the most durable and famous symbols of ancient civilizations. Consider the pyramids, Stonehenge, and Taj Mahal. In more recent times, Monumental structures such as New York's Statue of Liberty, Paris's Eiffel Tower have become iconic emblems of modern nation states and major tourist attractions in themselves that provide an economical benefit to the local community by way of cultural tourism. If we were to venture closer to home, we now have, of course, the Kelpies, not done by me, but my fellow Glasgow School of Art sculptor. Such monuments become cherished landmarks that help to tell us where we are, where we've come from, and where we want to be. They don't just become an integral part of the cultural and historical landscape of time and place, they also fulfill an inspirational function in the minds and hearts of the local people whose story they tell. So what's our story? Well, as we know, our story is about two men who stood together, side by side, on the threshold of making history, but alas, only one lived to tell the tale. They inspired those around them, and they still inspire us today. So why is inspiration so important? The word inspire means to fill someone with the urge or ability to feel or do something, and is derived from the Latin inspirere. Did I pronounce that correctly, John? Any Latin scholars amongst us? And that means to breathe or blow into. As breathing is essential to our existence, so inspiration is fundamental to being human. For it not only creates strong feelings, but motivates and urges us into action. I endeavoured in the model we have before us tonight in the room through the way there to create an inspirational image that conveys drama, emotion, action, pride, and passion. The two figures share the same pose, they mirror each other, they share the same vision, they are in unison. They hold high a symbol of their dream for all to see and follow. The model's abstracted forms are angular, dynamic, strong, rising upwards from the ground as they reach for the sky. The flag, by contrast, is flowing, fluid, and free. Given that no pictorial record of Wallace and Moray exists, the portraits I've created are works of artistic interpretation. As a result of my historic research, I have chosen to portray Wallace with a full beard, wearing a short chainmail coif under his helmet, and a plaid mantle across his left shoulder. Moray, on the other hand, is portrayed as being clean-shaven, with a longer chainmail coif headpiece worn under a headband, embossed with 3 heraldic stars, in order to distinguish his aristocratic heritage. The figures are further differentiated by their arm protectors and gauntlets. At various stages throughout the detailed design phase, progress meetings were held with the Guardians of Scotland trustees, whose input and enthusiasm for the project I found most encouraging. During our consultations, we discussed and shared ideas as to how the figures should be portrayed and what materials should eventually be used to create the artwork. In order to achieve the precise detail and strength of construction I was after, I was convinced steel was the obvious choice. But what kind? Mild steel, stainless steel, or Corten weathering steel? Traditional mild steel, as we all know, rusts, deteriorates, falls apart, and would need to be galvanized and perhaps even painted, which would require ongoing maintenance. Stainless steel, which the Kelpies are made from, is, if left in its natural state, would be a dull grey colour and still require maintenance in the long run, more so if its surface was enlivened and textured to sparkle. I've created many sculptures in stainless steel in a variety of finishes and always associate material with modernity. But in our context, I felt it would be an inappropriate option, given that we are seeking to portray a relationship that took place a long time ago. Corten weathering steel, on the other hand, is a material much favoured by sculptors for its attractive appearance, its ability to change colour by adapting to local climatic conditions. It's an alloy steel that forms its own self-protective surface patina, and it's maintenance free. So it does oxidize, but then stops. Mild steel oxidizes and keeps oxidizing, falls apart. But Cortens are a lovely material. So in order to explore my concept a bit further and understand how such a complicated sculpture could be made, I decided to construct a fairly large model composed of precisely cut pieces of plastic to simulate how the final artwork would be built. Once the model was completed, a 3D scanner was used to create a computer file, which is where these images come from. And I could adjust the size and shape of some of the elements and do some refining. Once we had that file, we made a 3D print, which is what the model's made from. And I painted it to give it the appearance of Corten steel. I placed it on an angular, inclined rock-like slope that in reality could function as a gathering space for visitors to the artwork and witness associated interpretive displays, perhaps. When seen from the exterior of the artwork appears to be solid. But because the sculpture is constructed as a hollow shell, when seen from the back, the viewer is presented with an interior space that can be entered into and used as a stage for performances and presentations, perhaps. So one of the questions I posed to myself at the beginning of this project, and will now pose again, and that is, how big should our vision be? Not the artwork. How big should our vision be? Earlier tonight I mentioned the Celts. I mentioned them again. And I'm doing any percentage for this. I'm sure everyone in this room has heard of the Kelpies. Many will have seen them up close, or even ventured inside. Oh yes, you can. What scale then? Let me ask a different question. What scale should our artwork be? The model we see through there is scaled to represent the second from the left. So, the flag top stands roughly 10 metres from the ground. The top of Wallace's head is about 7 metres. We could make it bigger, and to give you an idea of how it compares to the Kelpies, need I say more? So by way of comparison, we can see what we're looking at. Depending on the final scale of the sculpture, the artwork's interior could be used as a stage, as I said before, or even a gathering space for events and performances, thus enhancing the sculpture's functionality. As you can see, I've installed a lighting strip in the model inside to show how a dramatic use of lighting could really transform the piece and really bring Moray and Wallace's faces to life. So when combined with some strategic exterior lighting, the nighttime appearance of the artwork, I think, would be quite stunning. So as I draw to a close, I'm aware, however, there are still options to consider and questions to be asked and answers to be found, such as where exactly should it be placed? Could a bronze casting of the actual model be placed on a concrete plinth at the bridge site adjacent to the existing interpretive pedestals, for example? With a monumental version located in a more accessible and prominent location within the city, or at one of its entrances? How could it be financed? It's been over 2 years since any indicative costs have been produced, but these would now have to be recalculated. Would you believe it's taken 7 years of commitment and Guardians of Scotland Trust to get where we are tonight. And indeed you may well ask, where is that exactly? I personally have been involved in this journey for over 5 years, and I've given talks like this on many occasions. I'm wondering, is this where the Trust's journey ends? In this place tonight? Or is this the place and time where our journey together begins? Whenever I embark on a project, I search for an idea and a concept that will fire the imagination and stir the soul. I believe I've done that tonight. A lot of people with passion, vision, hope, and faith have worked hard to get us to this place and this point of time, and I feel privileged to be part of that number. However, all we have to show for several years of endeavour so far is a vision for what might be. Nevertheless, we have before us tonight an opportunity to make a bold and confident statement about who we are, what we have become, and what our future hopes are. We have before us tonight an opportunity to send a message in these troubled and divisive times that by embracing our differences and by working together, we can build a prosperous community based on mutual respect, partnership, and collaboration. I started by asking myself questions and found them to be very challenging. And many challenging questions still remain. I'm grateful to be given the opportunity to speak to you tonight, and hope that my words have indeed been challenging and inspiring. However, there's one word I have not mentioned tonight, and that is courage. Wallace and Moray had courage. So did their followers. They had the courage to be and the courage to do what needed to be done on that eventful day. If the people of Stirling wish to turn the vision I presented tonight into reality, then they also will need courage to do what needs to be done and provide the resources to make it happen. I'm confident, yes I am, I can do my part, but I cannot make it happen on my own. As I said earlier of Wallace and Moray, partnership and collaboration was what it was all about then and what it's all about now. I therefore offer to the people of Stirling tonight an opportunity to create a truly memorable and monumental landmark that builds upon the city's past historical and cultural achievements and would encourage them to support this exciting initiative.
Inspirational on several occasions. Can I just say, and I hope you agree with me, your presentation was, to say the least, inspirational. More welcome. I'll take questions of the speakers now. Anyone wants to give some questions. Don't ask the question how big is it going to be, because the size of it will depend on budget, will depend on the planning department that's still in Council as to how big the statue should be in relation to what's adjacent to it, which is the old Stirling Bridge. And it also depends on many factors and people coming forward. So we are working on that. Can I just say that there are two Andy Murrays to take into account. One of them wields a tennis racket, and the other one's with a statue. If anyone's got any connections to bring the two together, it'd be very grateful to hear from you. He is, after all, Andy Murray, the tennis player, he is a freeman of the city of Stirling. So it would be in his interest as well as ours, but getting hold of them is another matter in these difficult times with these operations and what have you. So, questions. Has anyone got a question for either of our two speakers? Now's the time to ask them. Anybody? No? Quite sure? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, can I thank the National Trust for Scotland for having us here. I think this is, for my money, the best venue that we could put at Maquette, because it will inspire the visitor, and the links are obvious, as our historian told us. I've been on this trust from the very beginning, and I'm a wee bit frustrated that we can't get a bit further forward. Hopefully we will, with your support. Okay? So can I thank you once again for coming this evening. I hope you've learnt a lot. Those of you who have got connections with the Earl of Moray, who is also our honorary president of our organisation, will be happy that de Moray is taking his rightful place in this statue. It is two brothers in arms, and that's what it's about. So thank you for this evening, and safe home, everyone.